You ever get to the end of the day and feel like you were busy, constantly doing something, but you didn't actually accomplish anything that mattered? Yeah, that feeling, that fragmented focus, isn't just you. Today, we're going to dig into how our ability to do deep, meaningful work is being systematically broken down, and why your attention has become one of the most valuable commodities on Earth.
So let's just ask it straight up. Why is it so hard to focus? I mean, we have more tools, more apps, more ways to be productive than ever before in history. So why does it feel almost impossible to just sit down and concentrate on one important thing for any real length of time?
And here's the answer, and it's really the core of this entire explainer. Your struggle to focus isn't a personal failure. It's not a lack of willpower. It's the intended, calculated outcome of a system that has been meticulously engineered.
Okay, so to really understand that system, we have to start by looking at the economics behind it all. And that brings us to something called the attention economy.
You know, decades ago, long before any of this was a reality, an economist named Herbert Simon saw it all coming. His logic was simple, but absolutely brilliant. In a world where we're drowning in information, the truly scarce, and therefore the most valuable thing, isn't the information itself. It's our limited, finite ability to pay attention to it. And of course, that scarcity created a whole new economy. The attention economy is basically an entire ecosystem built on one single goal, designing platforms and services specifically to capture, hold, and ultimately sell your focus. So, how does this economy actually run? What's the engine that powers this relentless grab for our eyeballs and our time? Well, that's where we meet something called persuasive technology.
Now, the most important word in that definition is intentionally. This isn't about technology that accidentally changes how we act. No, this is about tech that is designed from the ground up, from the very first line of code, with the explicit purpose of shaping what you do and what you think.
The whole strategy is to target our built-in psychological weak spots, our cognitive vulnerabilities. This technology uses these non-rational triggers, things like our deep-seated need for social approval or that nagging fear of missing out, to guide our behavior toward a specific commercial goal, like getting you to click an ad or just stay scrolling for a few more minutes. And this total reliance on persuasive tech has caused this fundamental, seismic shift in the business model of the internet and pretty much all the media we consume every single day.
This right here is the critical shift. We used to live in a world where advertising underwrote content. It paid the bills in the background so the real content, the article, the show, could exist. Now we live in a world where advertising overwrites the content. In many cases, the content only exists to serve the ads. Capturing your attention for an advertiser isn't just part of the plan, it is the plan.
And the result of that shift, we are all now living inside the largest, most data-driven, and most sophisticated project for mass persuasion ever conducted in human history. The scale of this thing is it's unprecedented. Okay, so that's the external system. That's what's happening out there. But what is this constant battle for our attention actually doing to us, on the inside? What is it doing to our minds? So our brains basically operate in two different modes. You've got automatic thinking, that's our fast, intuitive, gut reaction autopilot. Then you have deliberative thinking. That's our slow, effortful, deep thinking mode. Well, the attention economy is designed almost exclusively to trigger and exploit our automatic system, keeping us in a constant state of reactive, effortless clicking and scrolling. And the consequence of being constantly poked and prodded like this is a very real drain on our mental resources. You can think of it as a cognitive tax. See, just like how worrying about money can completely exhaust your mental bandwidth, fighting off this constant storm of digital distractions taxes your ability to think clearly and deeply about anything else. And this tax isn't just a metaphor. It has a real, measurable cost. Get this, one study found that farmers who were under intense financial stress performed worse on cognitive tests by an amount equivalent to losing 10 IQ points. The cognitive tax from our state of perpetual digital distraction works in exactly the same way, measurably reducing our ability to perform at our best. And this brings us to the final and maybe most important point, because this isn't just about productivity or IQ scores. This whole thing cuts to the heart of a much more fundamental idea: human freedom. Way back over 150 years ago, the philosopher John Stuart Mill argued that a core part of being free is the ability to frame the plan of our own life.
to decide for ourselves what's important to us and what's worth pursuing.
And that is the whole ballgame, isn't it? To be able to frame the plan of your life, you need what you might call a freedom of attention. You have to have the power to direct your own focus towards your own goals, not the goals that an algorithm has decided for you.
So that leaves us with a profound and maybe pretty uncomfortable question for our time. In an environment that is literally designed for our distraction, what does it truly mean to be free?